What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Shield Splitter Podcast. So today, we're going to be covering the new fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Isabelle. Now, Isabelle is a very interesting addition, and she breaks the mold in a lot of ways. Now, prior to Isabelle's inclusion, I made quite a few suggestions, most of them pointing to the idea that if fans paid very close attention to the way characters were being added, we just might be able to predict who would be added next. Even though Isabelle's inclusion was predicted by many popular leakers, I don't really see how guessing her inclusion could be an organic thing. Just thinking about it off the top of my head, she doesn't really follow any of the rules. She doesn't follow the one-to-one rule, she doesn't follow the theme rules, and she doesn't follow the true rivalries rule. To be honest, at this point, I don't think anybody can organically guess who's going to appear next. Now, I'm not suggesting it's random by any means, but I just don't think it's possible because it can practically be anyone from any series. I mean, as far as we know, the true rivalries theme can already be complete. That might be the end of it. It could also very well not be complete, and characters that we expect to see as playable might even appear as bosses to keep the true rivalry theme going. We just don't know. I mean, at some point I thought it would be fun to start predicting what characters would appear next, but I mean, really, with no basis, it'd just be a waste of time in my opinion. Now, just because that's the case and Isabelle moves a lot of things off the table, that's not to suggest that she doesn't add a whole lot of things. Once I had the chance to really sit down and absorb everything that was happening when Isabelle was revealed, the more I started to realize how necessary she was to the roster. I mean, personally for me, she answered a bunch of questions like why certain characters didn't appear, why it is that certain characters, if they did or didn't make it in, why I wouldn't really care. And I mean, her appearance wasn't just limited to that either. Isabelle's appearance really allowed me to make peace with a lot of things that I was thinking in the back of my mind for a very long time. And this wasn't just limited to Smash Brothers, but just video games in general. Like, what do I really want out of my video games? I mean, for a while there, I really felt as though I was getting into Sakurai and his whole team's headspace, what they were thinking, what direction they were going in. And for a moment, I really thought I was on to something, but I made one fatal flaw. I never considered that Sakurai and his team were making a game first and a legacy project second. And I'm not mad at that at all. Mind you, I'm very enthusiastic. It makes me look at the game a lot differently now. I mean, if at any time it seems to me that the developers are tasting their own video game gumbo and saying, you know, it could use a little salt or it could use a little pepper, that's a great thing. And I feel at the end of the day, if that's what they're doing, everybody wins. And I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but this feels like those rare moments where the developers add something that you didn't even know you wanted until they added it. And boy, did I want Isabelle. Now, allow me to be clear about what I mean when I say I really wanted Isabelle, and I didn't even know that I wanted Isabelle. If at this point, at Isabelle's reveal, if someone asked me if I would like to trade Isabelle for a character like Sephiroth or Dante from Devil May Cry series, I would say no. I'd rather have Isabelle. Now I know for most fans that might sound crazy. There's no way anybody would trade Sephiroth for Isabelle. No way in the world. Well, you'd be wrong. I am that one person, and I have my reasons why. In fact, I have 5 reasons. To be honest, I've actually had these 5 reasons before I even knew that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was in development. I mean, really, what I have to say on the matter can be applied to really any game. So we'll get into detail about all of that and more right after this.
Listen up, please!
Welcome back to the Shield Splitter Podcast. Alright, so there's a lot to cover here because Isabelle answers quite a few questions, but she brings up a lot of other questions. Now, in addition to other evidence, she answers one big question for me about why it is that Shovel Knight didn't make a guest appearance in the game. Now, my personal answer to this question is that Isabelle's appearance kept that from happening because of her fishing rod attack, which I think is going to be very important to her move arsenal. In addition to the fact that Rivals of Aether has Shovel Knight as a guest appearance, and I think they didn't want to steal the thunder away from that game out of respect. Shovel Knight also makes an appearance in some kind of fighting simulator as DLC for his own game, where I believe that characters can compete against each other in sort of a free-for-all type fighting format. And then lastly, I believe Shovel Knight makes an appearance in another game called Blade Strangers, where I think his appearance is kind of off, but aside from all of that, I believe those are the reasons why he didn't make it in. Now, this is just referring to him being as a playable character, because he is in as an assist trophy, but I mean, he didn't make it in as a playable character. Now, speaking of assist trophies, Isabelle also answers another question for me about why it is that assist trophies are a lot better now, and it has to do with personality. Isabelle's so full of personality, and as a person who's never played an Animal Crossing game, I'm already in love with that character. But that's just not limited to her, as that theme seems to be pretty consistent throughout all of the assist trophies that now can be killed, they can even fight each other, they can dodge attacks, they can clear jumps. I mean, to a certain degree, a character appearing as an assist trophy really isn't all that bad. And it all ties together because Isabelle graduated from an assist trophy to a playable character. Now, I know this might seem blasphemous, but this also answers the question about why no Mortal Kombat characters will ever be making it into Smash, and it's because Isabelle already has the
Get over here!
attack, and nobody needs Scorpion or Sub-Zero, so bye. But in all seriousness though, as a gamer who's a lot older than most, I lead more towards something that's interesting rather than something that's popular, which pretty much means that I'd rather they add an interesting character than a popular generic character. I mean, aside from cool factor, what would a character like Sephiroth really add to the game? And though I would like to have Dante just to fight Bayonetta, what would Dante really add to the game that Bayonetta doesn't already add? You see what I mean? You know what? Actually, I take that back. I think I would rather have Dante, but not Sephiroth. I don't think Sephiroth would add anything interesting to the game. I could be wrong, but I seriously doubt it. No more sword characters, please. Also, it's really important to point out that Smash Brothers is supposed to be quirky and funny and completely ridiculous and loony and chaotic and ridiculous and chaotic and ridiculous. All these newer characters are making things a little too serious for my taste. Corrin, Bayonetta, Ryu, and Cloud are all cool and everything, but they're a little too serious for my taste. I don't know, that's just me. I mean, with Ridley and Simon Belmont being added, it's nice to see them go back to their cutesy roots for once. I mean, beating Ridley over the head with a baseball bat with Isabelle, that's what Smash Brothers is all about. Just pure, utter ridiculousness. And aside from that, at the end of the day, I'd really like to see what type of team combos that Isabelle and Villager can come up with. I mean, this isn't to suggest that I know that they're going to work well together, but who knows, they just might. See, that's what I mean when I said interesting. Isabelle adds interesting to the game. And I just thought of something. Maybe Isabelle also represents that no more characters will be lonely in their series? Maybe every series will have at least one other representative? I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. It's like I said before, in my book, Isabelle turns everything on its head. With her being added, I don't think there's any reasonable way to guess who's gonna appear next. Like, it can literally be anyone. I mean, then again, maybe she ranked high on this Smash ballot everyone keeps talking about. Or maybe she didn't, because that means if she didn't rank high on it and she's still in the game, that means even that theory is out the window. Who knows? Either way, I'm excited to play this character. All hail Isabelle. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. Later.